Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be turning this shirt gown into a cargo pants. If it's something you're interested in, then let's get started. These are the measurements needed to cut our cargo pants. I have gone ahead to unpick the shirt gown and I had 4 pieces. So I'll be cutting from these 4 pieces. The first thing I'm going to do is to measure my pocket length, which was 4 inches from the waist, then my knee length, which was 22 inches, then my pants length, like where I want my trouser to reach, which was 41. From the knee length, I went in by half an inch, and I also did the same thing to my trouser length. I went in by half an inch, and I connected the lines to meet the pockets, to meet where the pocket ends, as you can see in the video. For my waist, I went in by quarter of my waist. Then I just went down by 7 inches to mark quarter of my hips, as you can see in the video. Then I went ahead to connect the points together with a slant line. For my waistline, I will also go down by quarter of my hips, which will serve as my crotch depth. Then I went ahead to measure half of my thigh, also called laps. Then I marked it on the line like so. Then I just connected it with a slight curve. After that, I went ahead to measure half of my knee circumference. You can choose any measurement you want. Then I also measured half of my ankle circumference. Then the allowance, I did the same thing for it. Then I just connected the line like so. The next thing I'll be using is using my free hand to connect from my crotch depth to my length, to my knee length, then to my ankle, like so, before I go in with a ruler. I will not be adding any allowance to the front piece because all the allowance will be added at the back. Once I'm done with that, I went ahead to cut out my front pieces. Don't forget, all your measurements will take place from that ruled line, like the half an inch from the knee length and from the ankle that you drew, that you connected. That is where your measurements will take place. For the back pieces, I'll be adding 2 inches allowance all round. I've gone ahead to pin my front pieces to the back. Then I'll measure 2 inches from my waistline, then connect it to the crotch depth, to the front crotch depth like so. I'll also be adding 2 inches allowance till I get to the ankle length, that is the trouser length. Then I'll connect it with a slight curve. For the back crotch depth, I went up by 1.5 inches. Then after sewing it, I realized that it was too much, so you can go up by 1 inches. Then I went ahead to cut my back pieces like so. I'll be using these pieces for my zip flap, and because the materials is not enough, I'll be using that for my pocket pieces, part of my pocket pieces, and this will be used as my waistband. I'll also use this for my cargo pockets. The first thing I'm going to do is sewing my pockets. I'll be using another materials for this because I don't have enough material. I have a tutorial on how to sew 4 different kinds of pockets, so I'll link it in the description below. The first thing I'm going to do is to sew a curve like so, then go ahead to trim it once I'm done, then give it a notch. After that, I went ahead to top stitch the pocket back. When I'm done with that, I'll also top stitch the front pieces. For the other pocket bag, I'll be placing this curved material on it like so, then stitch it up. Once I'm done with that, I'll mark the exact length of my pocket on the front pieces, then place it on it like so, then go ahead and stitch it up. Once I'm done sewing the pockets, I'll place both pieces, I'll pin them together like so, then mark 6.5 inches for my zip flap because I'll be making my zip flap now. Then give it a tiny notch. I will be sewing my left piece first. I've gone ahead to interface my flap You'll be joining your right zip flap to your left pieces. Please don't make the mistake of doing it the other way around. On my zip flap, I went ahead to measure 1 inches. So I'll be joining it from that 1 inches to the left piece like so. Then I'll sew it. So this is how it will look like when you're done. Then I went ahead to top stitch it. For the right front piece, I'll place my other zip flap on a piece of fabric. Then I will sew the curved edges, making sure right sides are facing each other before sewing. Once I'm done sewing, I'll go ahead and trim the excess fabric, then turn it out, and I will top stitch the zip flap. Once I'm done sewing the zip flap, I'll go up by 1 inch, then place my zip on it and my right piece like so. Then I'll fold the pieces from the zip flap on it, so everything must be on a straight line. When you are sewing, everything must align. This is what it should look like once you are done sewing. After that, I went ahead to pin both left and right piece together like so, and I went in by 1/4 of an inch. Then I'll sew to the zip, to where the zip begins. This is how it should look like once you are done sewing. I went ahead to join the zip to the left zip flap, making sure the zip does not show when I finish sewing. This is what it should look like once you are done sewing. You can see that the zip was not showing at all. I went ahead to join both zip flap together. Just a tiny stitch is okay. For my back piece, I'll just be pinning the pocket I got from the shirt gown. I'll be pinning it on it like so. Once I'm done sewing the pocket, I will join both pieces together and sew the crotch depth. Then leave 1/4 of an inch like I did for the front. Then I'll leave 1/4 of an inch there too. Once I'm done with that, I went ahead to join both my front pieces and back pieces together. I will be using this as my cargo pocket, but I realized it may not be enough. But what is the cargo pants without a cargo pocket? I was able to get something out of that, so I just pinned it to the side of my trouser like so. The next thing I'll be making is my belt loops. I've gone ahead to press it, then I'll be sewing both sides. After I'm done, I will just cut it to my desired length. Like I'll cut 5 pieces. I'm going to need 5 pieces, and I'll go ahead and pin it to my trouser like so before sewing my waistband. For my waistband, I got this from the shirt gown, which is already interfaced, so I don't need to interface it. I went ahead to attach the waistband to my right front piece like so. Then for my left piece, I first folded it like maybe 2 inches or 1.5 inches before sewing it on my left pieces like so. After that, I trimmed out the excess fabric of the zip flap. To close up the waistband of the left piece, I went ahead to fold it like so. Then I'm going to sew on that slant line like I drew on my trouser. Then I just trimmed a little bit so that it won't be bulky when I fold it inside out. After that, I'll be stitching the zip line you do see in front of the trouser. This is when I actually realized my phone was not recording again. So what is left is joining the pants together by the side. That's what is left, and just stitching the hemline. I have a video on how to make a short. It's basically the same process. I'll link it in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Bye.